What is going on, guys? We have our April 2023 investment portfolio update. Excited about this because we got some changes coming here. You'll notice just from the past monthly allocation letters we've done, we've got some changes going on. So here at the reset, we have our contrarian portfolio really outside of the traditional mainstream norms. No 401k stuff, no pensions, no ETFs, things like that. We aren't in that world because we want to control our assets. And the biggest control for an investor, there's the 10 investor controls that Robert Kiyosaki talks about. And one of the big ones is just the control of your assets. That's one of the biggest ones. Do you control your assets? How do you control them? I love bearer instruments, and it's not going to be time to have those always. There's going to be a time to have phase two, which you'll see a link here in our previous allocation monthly letters to see what that means. Phase two, when you're going from your hedges and your insurance payouts basically into dividend paying, cash flowing real estate, and really amplifying your passive income, your cash flow, and really getting every single person into financial freedom. So let's jump right into this. Preparing for carnage. That's really kind of the story of the day and the things that are going on here, as we've seen in the last month or so. So all we've done here at the reset is get prepared for the inevitable demise of the Roman Empire. We've been talking about the dollar getting destroyed, the transition, the inevitable monetary transition, the empire who helped kill the Messiah, which we witnessed this past month. Happy Easter to you. Hope you had a wonderful Easter and got to spend some time with family and friends. I did. Actually had a lot of computer problems, and then just decided to take some impromptu days off, spend time with family. I got to spend many hours out in the beautiful Michigan sun. So hope you did as well. Only to have truth come back and win over evil. So trying to kill truth. You can't kill truth. It's impossible. Truth always will set you free. Time always tells. A similar human event will take place with the truth on earth moving forward here. The fiat lie that has swept over the earth the last 100 years with the popularization of communism, collectivism, will begin to crumble spectacularly. We are seeing it everywhere. Everywhere. Banks, politicians, governments, nation states, criminals, warmongers, groomers, pedophiles, and I actually forgot, New York Times, mainstream media, all of them. Fiat education system, fiat food, all getting exposed like cockroaches in the light. Nayib Bukele calling out the USA for their hypocrisy, banks failing for making terrible decisions, and governments and their currencies failing because they were only designed to enrich a few and hold their power at the top. That's the fiat legacy inflationary system. It's designed for the few at the top to hold their power. That's it. It's not for you and I. I can guarantee you that. Why can we guarantee this? Why? The truth will only speed up and take down decentralized control structures. Why? How could we guarantee that? Decentralized money, energy, and social media that cannot be censored or stopped. Bitcoin, Master, Zion, Ghost, Start9, small modular nuclear reactors, thorium, fusion, fission, and memers. The people taking on the elites directly, just like the comedian that literally had it on Christine Lagarde. I believe she thought it was Zelensky, and got her to admit, yeah, like we want control of these people with CBDCs and their slavery coin, FedNow, the central bank digital currencies. We are living in clown world, and it's only going to speed up. It's only going to be exposed more and more. The legacy power structures are falling, and we will. I've been saying this for nearly 2 decades. I guarantee you we will see crazier things happen. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. As a drowning man in the water loses its power, we will see crazier things happen. The unproductive class will do whatever they can to try to salvage their last vestiges of power, and they will make it sound like the world will end unless you let them have power still. I guarantee that. But don't believe a second of it. The abundance and freedom we'll have on the backside of this will be humanity changing on an order humans have never seen in all of human history. Free and abundant energy, censorship-resistant communication, and money that is for the people and cannot be controlled by those at the top. Buckle up. This decade will be for the record books, but there will be bumps along the way because of the unproductive class. This is why we prepare for chaos and hope for the best, though, at the same time. So I'm actually going to go plug, so take a journey on with me over here. I'm going to go plug my computer in. So let's see what we have going on here. We have our portfolio allocation letter here. You can see the month that was. Last month, obviously, the March portfolio. You can see this month as well. So go check these out. And you can see some big changes, obviously, right? In the rental real estate, it's a light blue. We had 35% allocated last month. But because Bitcoin has been growing so much, it's now 33% instead of 28 last month. Gold and silver have been rising, so we have some increases there, a couple percent. And so the real estate portfolio has gone down a little bit, kind of tempered by a little bit of the real estate prices going down as well. So that's why we have some changes here. So Bitcoin, not crypto. Let's get into the different assets. The price of Bitcoin has almost doubled since the turn of the calendar. Our net worth here at the reset has gone up significantly in the past month, and you can see some evidence in the pie chart above. And again, remember, Bitcoin, not crypto. Crypto is not Bitcoin. But again, this is more about the collapse of the system, the dollar, banks, and confidence in that house of cards the government is playing, that inflationary fiat legacy system, the confidence, right? The con game, confidence game. The root of confidence is con game. That's what fiat is. Fiat is, remember, it's a narrative, right? It's speech. It's flapping of gums. That's why Jay Powell has to come out like today and flap the gums, and you got the meeting, Fed meeting minutes, and all these different things. Don't believe put your ears, or plug your ears, put your finger in your ears, and watch what people do, not what they say. That's the biggest advice I can give to anybody, is watch what people are doing, whether it's life, investing, and your relationships. You're going to get a lot more truth and get a lot closer to truth if you follow the money instead of follow the science. And also if you plug your ears and watch what people are doing, not what they're saying. Remember, this is the alternative they're prepared to do to you, the elites, the unproductive class, if you save in the dollar or any other fiat. And here's the minute-long video we have tens of thousands of views on of the FDIC. We clipped this from Mark Moss's video. FDIC warns of balance of your deposits and says you don't need to know. So go check that out. It's a minute long. And go to the blog, our blog here, or you can go search on the YouTube channel or in the blog. You can go check out, there's a link in the description. You can go check out this article, and the link's right here. The video's right here. You can go play it. And it's a minute long of them telling you they are going to steal your wealth, steal your property, your time and energy. So we have about 33% in Bitcoin currently, up 5% from last month. And I expect Bitcoin to become a majority of my portfolio again in the next few years as it increases in value. It'll probably become 99% of my portfolio, my value, or it'll become 99% of our portfolio over the next 5 to 15 years, next 5 to 10 years is really the time horizon I see. So this is a savings technology. It's real money. Just like you saved dollars, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and it was backed by gold. It actually had value to it because it's just a piece of paper. It's an IOU. Now it's just debt. It's completely an IOU. It's a Federal Reserve note. So it's owed back to the central bank with interest. So why would you hold a liability that you are told is an asset? It's not. It's a liability. So don't hold dollars. Make the fair trade for yourself. We'll talk about that in a minute, but make the fair trade. Trade finite assets for your finite time. Don't trade your finite time for infinite liabilities. Dollars, pesos, yen, blades of grass, grains of sand. Do not do that. So again, you can check some how we look at some of the wallets I like. Bill pay or checking is maybe you have a few $100s on you, like a wallet you might have on your person. Hot wallets like Moon, Wall, Satoshi, I really like those. Blue wallets, Samurai, Pine, Aqua. There's many of them. You can kind of see which ones you like. And this is for your retirement and long-term savings, actually saving true money that there will never be more than 21 million, so always going to go up in value over time. You put those in cold storage. That's majority. That's 99% of your Bitcoin, your wealth. You're going to store in a cold storage wallet. I really like Blockstream Jade, Cold Card. They're open source. Trezor, it's all right. I know people use them. I don't yet, but I was going to try some, but I don't know, because I don't like that they have other options for other crypto stuff. I want my company to only be focusing on Bitcoin and not be distracted with other issues. Real estate is just positive cash flowing rental real estate, right? This does not include your own home. So the last refinance is moving along finally because the tenant is out. And as you can see here, they left the place trashed after not paying any rent over the last 9 months. So I may sell this property and refinance or do some type of 1031 or seller refi, or seller finance, I should say, to not trigger a taxable event. So we'll see there. And, because of one of the properties we sold last year, we're dealing with some taxes from this year, which I ain't happy about. I do not like to pay taxes if I don't have to. We do things legally around here. There's many ways to not pay taxes legally. And because of some of the things we had going on, the business structure we had, stuff like that, we ended up selling, which is not the way to be going. You do not want to be selling things. You should always be refinancing in an inflationary world and pulling that cash out and using it to buy other assets, not liabilities, but other assets, and leveraging yourself smartly with good debt, cash flowing, cash producing debt. That's how we should be leveraging and making good decisions with what we are doing. So that was one of the failures from last year. And so again, this picture, make you want to get into real estate, huh? But there's many options to get in real estate, right? I'm not a huge fan of single family. Like I said here, my main focus will be multifamily and storage in the future because of the economies of scale and getting into business and partnering with other high level people that might come about and that we might have opportunities with. So as you can see, this is why I'm still debating whether to get rid of all my single family rentals and take chips off the table and get into Bitcoin with the real estate cash and just wait and be patient. Warren Buffett talks about. We love Warren Buffett here because he's very memeable, and he talks a lot about half of what he says is stupid, literally just moronic, and then half of what he says is amazing. Some of the most genius stuff ever. But he's a value investor, and he talks about patience. Patience is the number one trait he has that the average person does not. Most people think it's very short term. They're thinking of their next paycheck this weekend or next week, and he thinks 50 years ahead, 100 years ahead, 10 years ahead. That's the way I want to think, and that's why I've always thought personally, but that's the way we got to train ourselves to think. That way we make smart decisions, have low time preference, and have that long-term outlook. Right now we have about 31% in rental real estate. Remember that the dollar is debt, like we said earlier. Real estate, like bonds over the last 40 years, and they're very intricately linked, obviously, because of mortgages. Both of those over the last 40 years have become more expensive, which now produce less yield if you don't buy them properly. Just something to remember there. Commodities, gold, silver, oil wells, uranium, copper, wheat, corn, etc. So primary assets are huge, right? We talked about controls. No counterparty where you control your wealth. It's never a bad bet. Plus, they can provide a lot of cash flow and hedging to protect yourselves. Control is a massive characteristic smart investors look for in their investments, like we spoke about earlier. And here's just a quick snippet from Kitco as well about central banks. There's been a lot of news lately in the last 6 months. Central banks record gold buying and what it signals. So, I think gold and silver will play. And we just had a BRICS, I just saw a headline about a BRICS. I didn't get to read the article, but a BRICS headline about them backing their pseudo currency thing they're doing with gold. So I do think it'll play a role here. However, Bitcoin will take over everything in the next 5, 10, 12 years. It's going to become very obvious by the day, more and more by the day as this plays out. But still, we're still in this legacy mindset. Most banks, most investors, most people are still in this legacy mindset. We're very early in the Bitcoin world, even though I've been down the rabbit hole for 5,000 hours, probably around, I would say at this point, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 hours of studying Bitcoin over the last 4 or 5 years. We're still early. We're still very early. So over the next 10 years, it's going to become very obvious. And central banks will be buying it. We have countries buying it already and making it legal tender. So central banks will have it, and it will supplant gold. We have about 16% in commodities and physical gold and silver as well. And if you have questions, again, let me know your comments. If you think I'm completely off, that we won't have central banks buying gold or buying Bitcoin and countries, please let me know. Please let me know your thoughts and why. I've made many videos as to why that will happen. It really is just the game theory of Bitcoin and the properties and characteristics of Bitcoin make it so that it's basically inarguable at this point. They can't not buy Bitcoin, and just because of those characteristics. So paper, let's talk about paper quick. Same as last month. There was really the one thing that one asset class that didn't change, doesn't change much, probably won't change for a little while here. I don't have much in here, don't plan to until phase 2 kicks off and when stocks are undervalued. I like buying when there's blood in the streets. Then you can pick up great rental real estate and dividend value stocks at great prices that throw off great cash flow. Remember, we make money, we make wealth when we buy. Not when we sell, but when we buy. So you have to buy properly, whether it's Bitcoin, stocks. You shouldn't even say Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is money. So you're just accumulating the hardest asset, the hardest money to ever own. So you can accumulate that at any time. It's just dollar cost average. But if you're buying real estate, if you're buying stocks, you want to buy those properly. You want to buy those when they're lower. But I also like to buy things, which, again, saying that, people that bought real estate in 06, 07, 08, yeah, a lot of those people are still underwater. So you can see, or went bankrupt, you can see the importance of buying correctly. I also like to buy things I know a lot about, which is another a Warren Buffett euphemism or ism, a Buffettism. Bitcoin, real estate, and gold and silver. Those are things I know a ton about. Those are my 3 areas of expertise. So I buy a lot of those right now. And fortunately, the reason I really like all those asset classes. At the same time, though, those happen to be somewhat down, like gold and silver and Bitcoin. They're kind of in their down value or like undervalued downswings right now. Actually, real estate and paper assets are generally overvalued right now by all metrics. So that's why I've studied the last 5-10 years. I've studied these undervalued assets because I wanted to get into those, understand them, and then ride those back up over the next decade or so, and then sell out when they peak, and then into real estate and paper when they're undervalued. So I'm still studying and learning and taking courses on stocks and selling options, etc. So I'm not ready yet. Again, it coincides with, again, my education. Like I said, I've spent time in the undervalued classes now, and then I'm starting to prep now for that phase 2, that turning. Paper and real estate are bound to plunge or have an invisible crash against other assets, which we'll see here in a second. And please see the prior couple monthly investment letters to check more on what phase 2 means, like I said as well. Right now we have about 2% paper. And the special tip here, again, is watch the credit market, bonds, the biggest market in the world, especially the 10-year Treasury, to see where the markets are going to go. Everything else is derived from the credit market. This tells us where the stock and the rest of the markets will go, the equity markets. If you want more on that, go check our daily market updates, the blue thumbnails. Those daily updates go through and check those indicators, the trifecta, the DXY, dollar relative strength, the oil price, and the 10-year Treasury. So those are the 3 drivers of the economy. And then we check the 3 global liquidity indicators to see where global liquidity is headed, which is Bitcoin, gold, and silver. So we check those every day. So go tune in there, and you can find all the info you need on a daily basis to track the market. And then right here we have the gold to Dow ratio. So this is really important. When you're valuing assets or trying to find things that are valued or undervalued, you want to divide them by each other. That's how you can find out what's valuable, right? What's undervalued and what's overvalued. Because most people, when you just look at a price, it doesn't mean anything, right? Apple stock's at 300, Apple stock's at 10, Apple stock's at $1 million, Apple stock's at $1. That doesn't tell you anything. So you have to divide it by another asset to get a hard asset, generally a commodity, to really see where something is sitting at, right? So we have to understand where things are at. And generally, this average is down here around 2.5 to 5, or really probably 5. So you want to buy when the Dow gold ratio is under 5. And right now we're around 20, 18, 20. So we have a long ways to go. The gold price needs to either at least 4x, or the Dow needs to come down by 4 times. So the Dow needs to be somewhere around 8,000. If it's at 32,000, it needs to be down near 8,000. So it just goes to show you that we have a long way to go. An invisible crash would be gold goes up 4x, goes to 8,000 an ounce from 2,000, and the Dow stays the same. Now we'd be around 5. Now it's starting to be a good time to get out of gold, sell your gold, and buy more shares of the Dow. So hopefully that makes sense. You can do that with any asset class. You can do it with any commodity, any stock, anything at all. We do it with Bitcoin a lot. Priced in Bitcoin21.com is an amazing site where you can see the trend of everything when you price in the control experiment, which is Bitcoin. There's only going to be 21 million, so you can divide everything in the world and get a very clear picture of what's going on because we have Bitcoin now. We actually have the signal within the noise. Cash and businesses, the last asset class here. Patiently building, growing your education while stacking cash and waiting to see what will play out. That's what we're doing here. We just talked about this a lot. So sitting on dry powder is so important right now to stay nimble. We got a lot of recession indicators and things that look like they're coming in the next 6 months. So hold on to your hats. Cash on hand is also good in case our long-term view of inflation is wrong, and we're just completely wrong for some reason. If we experience massive deflation and the dollar increasing in strength, the DXY, then we will be able to use the dry powder, the cash, to buy many more assets as well. Crashes usually take about 2-3 years to play out and fully bottom. We have about 18% in cash. So again, this is the 1980-based CPI, core inflation readout. This is from Shadow Stats, and John Williams has been tracking this for a long, long time, right? So this is we keep screwing with the numbers, but this shows us what it should be. It's around 14, right? And then we just came out with the inflation numbers today, and like, oh, it's at 5. Yeah, but it's up 5% from the 8% it was last year. If you go back a year ago, it was up 8% then, and now it's up 5% more from the 8%. So don't again, put the ears, close the ears, plug them, and just watch what people are doing, watch what's going on, and don't listen to what's going on, because you're going to get very confused. The blue line is the real inflation. This is what they're telling us it is. Oh, it's really 5. And this will get updated probably the next day or two by Shadow Stats. So listen to watch what's actually going on. Do not listen to the garbage, to the propaganda, to the mainstream media, to academia. They're there to flap their gums and confuse the living daylights out of people. Watch what's going on. That's my biggest advice for anyone. That's how we have 15x our portfolio over the last 10 years. By just watching what's going on and actually doing some of the homework. That doesn't take very long. I mean, we just talked about most of it here. What's taken me 10 years to kind of figure out, we just kind of went through it in 20 minutes. So in conclusion, the banks collapsing and government trying to choke off crypto and scare people, Operation Choke Point 2.0, is what's been going on. This is the, FTX, there's a lot of data that suggests that that was just set up just to try to collapse crypto, to scare people away, to try to regulate it, to provide, some type of false flag, launder money, etc. And rightfully so, they should. They should be banning crypto. They should be regulating crypto because it's trash. Bitcoin, there's securities, masquerading as a commodity, and it's not, or money. So I mean, they don't need to ban it necessarily, but you just need to regulate it. You just need to regulate the crypto for what it is, Ethereum, all these, Ripple, XRP, whatever. All these affinity scams and all these altcoins are there to distract from the revolution, the peaceful revolution, which is Bitcoin, taking money away from the state, separation of money and state. It's the only way we're going to fix the problems we have in front of us, by the government not being able to steal our wealth, our property rights, and our time and energy from us. Bitcoin's the only thing that can do that. There's no second best. It's not like some argument. That's it, Bitcoin. Everything else is a complete reincarnation of the fiat legacy broken system we have now. Bitcoin is not crypto, and crypto is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the new peaceful American revolution. And remember, it only took 3% of the population to rise up and defeat the British. Few understand this. Still, very early. Get prepared and have assets outside the control of another party. Bitcoin, gold, silver, guns, ammo, security, water, food storage, land. We talk about this all the time. These are very easy things to get, actually. Very, very easy to start getting very prepared and sleep like a baby at night. And the most important is building a community of like-minded people, which is one thing I love about what we do here at the blog and our YouTube channel and in just the Bitcoin community in general. Very like-minded people. Get on the mission and protect yourself from the fourth turning. So stay strong. And remember, I'm always a student. I'm not an expert. This is never financial advice, but only what I'm doing and what I see. So please, if you like freedom and can't stand the politics and bridges to nowhere, the racial polarization, the division, hate, looting, and all the moral decay in society, then you might just be a Bitcoiner. Then you might just be a Bitcoiner. So to fix all these problems, we have a solution where you cannot be racketeered by governments anymore through inflation. It's Bitcoin. Bitcoin fixes this. You don't need a lot. Just a couple percent is a vote for freedom that could change the world forever. I only want to trade my finite time for finite assets, like we said earlier. Not trade my finite time for infinite pieces of paper or digits on a computer. Make the equal trade for yourself. But I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Please share this out. The algorithm hates truth. Hates it. It's not financial advice. Like I said, it's freedom advice. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. For if there is a God, surely he would respect that over blindfolded fear. So I appreciate you more than you know, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.